Hello, and thank you very much for joining today's live stream. I'm Adam Smith. I'm the Program Director for Dementia Researcher, and I'm here today to talk about our exciting Dementia Researcher Communities launch, which has been about a year in the making. For those who don't know, let me talk initially, I guess, a little bit about Dementia Researcher, which I have slides to facilitate. So let me bring up my slides now. And there we go. So Dementia Researcher is essentially a service which is all for early career researchers. It exists to contribute to the wider research ecosystem and to improve career support for early career dementia researchers. That is to inspire more young people to think about research as a career option, to try and improve the retention of researchers that we already have working in the field, and to create collaborations and sharing and peer support. And by that, I mean to make sure that fundamental scientists understand more about dementia care and social care research, and the other way around as well, and to bring those people together to foster new relationships and to support collaborations. And it's really that last part about collaborations, which is what our new communities space is all about. But I'll start by giving you a little bit of a background about Dementia Researcher. So Dementia Researcher is run out of University College London and the UCLH NIHR Biomedical Research Centre, the BRC. And it is funded by the NIHR, by Alzheimer's Association, by Alzheimer's Research UK, Alzheimer's Society, and Race Against Dementia, who we're incredibly grateful for all their support. And I think the reason why they're great partners in this is because they also share our passion for supporting early career researchers and your careers. So we do lots of things, and I say we in the broadest sense. Of course, Dementia Researcher fundamentally is a lot of primarily my job. It's my full-time job, and we're recruiting team members at the moment. So there'll be more of us, but at the moment it's mostly me. And as I say, we exist entirely to support you. And how we do that is we have a website, which hopefully many of you will be familiar with, which is dementiaresearcher.nhr.ac.uk. And of course, we have our social channels, and we have a YouTube channel and podcasts and lots of other things. But what we do is we curate and collate all the funding opportunities, all the events, jobs, and education opportunities as well, all into one place to try and save researchers the time it takes to hunt around and potentially miss the opportunities. So we bring those all together as internationally as we can, certainly all the ones from the UK and as many of the overseas ones as we can find as well. And that is from the NIHR, the Wellcome Trust, the Medical Research Council, all the charities I mentioned before, and some of the smaller charities as well. And we categorize those and we list them all into one place so you can come and have a look. And we have a newsletter that goes out every week and shares those. And we do the same for all the events as well, to make sure that all the time and trouble that you go into, whether that's small webinars, conferences, live streams, whatever it is, workshops, that we put all those again into a planner to maximize the awareness that people have of those opportunities. And we do the same for jobs and undergraduate and postgraduate courses and further education as well, particularly for those who might be working clinically, and for undergrads to find master's courses and PhD funding and things. We also publish about 180 blogs every year. We have a team of regular contributors, and then we have ad hoc people who write for us as well. And they write on a massive range of topics, whether it's talking about research methodologies, their own research experiences, life, mental health, how to do well in a job interview. I've just written a blog this morning, which is about how to make friends when you go to a new lab or a new country, which many of you will face. So hopefully a whole resource there. We've been publishing blogs for many years, so we have something like 500 pieces And the website as a whole has over 3,000 pages of supportive content for early career researchers. And I'm going to talk a little bit later about some of the things we've done with our new community to help that. And all of those blogs aren't just written, but they're also narrated. Everybody who writes a blog for us over the last 3 years has also read that out loud, recorded it, so we can release that into its own podcast feed. So even if you don't have time to sit there and spend 10 minutes reading something, you can listen to that blog, whether you're in the car on the way home, dropping the kids off to school, walking the dog, pottering around in the garden, whatever you're doing, you can listen to some of those as well. And what we also like to do is to give that opportunity to you. So it's all about kind of amplifying those, because what we don't want to do is you to miss those opportunities. And we also do some special features. So I'll give you an example of that. This month is World Alzheimer's Month, which we're all probably very aware of. And all of this month, we're working with Golnaz Atifi, who is a PhD student at Maastricht University, who is roller skating 1,000 kilometers through Europe for dementia awareness, all for trying to get a Guinness World Record at the same time for the most amount of kilometers roller skated in a single month. And so we've handed our YouTube channel over to Golnaz, who is vlogging every day, showing us on our roller skates, interviewing people along the way. And that's just one of the collaborations that we've done. We also work with iStart every year to do a special podcast series. We work, of course, with our charity partners to make sure they're aware of different things. Next month in October, we have a whole week on innovation and how you might implement your research or spin that out into a company. So we have a blog series and some podcasts coming out. So in addition to the norm, we do these special focus weeks as well. And here we are. We've talked a little bit about blogs already. I would also take in this opportunity to highlight, of course, we're going to go on to talk about the community and how that can help you. But also as well, we're always looking for contributors, particularly people who have stories. So we usually have a few PhD students working in different areas of dementia research, from fundamental science to care research, talking about their PhD experiences. And at the moment, for example, we have Emily Spencer, who's a PhD student from UCL, talking about her work and life during pregnancy and maternity leave and returning to work. And so we're really keen to capture those kind of stories to help make sure that people understand that they're not alone in the experiences they're experiencing in academia. And we're particularly on the lookout for more clinical people. We don't have enough contributions from people who work clinically about their experiences of combining clinical and research careers or delivery and drug trials and things like that. So if you're one of those people, do get in touch. We're always looking for more of you. And we do pay. If you agree to write for us every month, we actually provide a stipend to cover your cost of that as well. And everybody who writes for our website, of course, we have bios on over 500 biographies now of researchers, which are fun glimpses to look at people. And our community has this same thing as well. And it makes you very searchable and gives you lots you can contribute to your narrative CV. So if you're looking for ways to build your experience, do some connecting and networking, do consider contributing to our service. So let's move on to the main highlight of today, which is our communities app. As I started at the top, mentioned at the start of this live stream, we're very excited about this. When we first launched Dementia Researcher, we had a forum and it wasn't especially well used. Over the last couple of years, we've had a WhatsApp community, which is great. It's allowed people to connect, but the way it's organized and delivered is a little bit stifling in so much as it's just one long stream. There's no way to organize discussion. So we've been working with a provider called Circle. I'll give them a plug now, to create our own dedicated communities space. So the community is available via the Apple and Android App Store. I'm going to pop a QR code on the screen now, which you can screen grab and take a link from. And also as well, I'll put a ticker along the bottom, which has a link. So this is available in the app and App Store, and it's also available on the website as well. I'd suggest you actually do both, because some things are easier to participate in online. However, if you make sure you've got the app, you'll get the benefit of some of the push notifications and things that will come with that. And essentially, this community is for researchers of all kinds, whether you're an undergraduate that hasn't yet started on your research journey, whether you're somebody living with dementia who or a carer who participates in co-production research or patient and public involvement or involved in research yourself. There's spaces for everybody. So that's who it's for, and this is where you'll find it. So let's talk about some of the features. The first thing I'm going to talk about is research chat. So we've done our best to try and group up the massive ranges of research fields that you work in, from biomarkers to social care or health economics or I don't know, neuroimaging, whatever it is. We've got categories broken down into these spaces where when you register, it'll ask you what your research interests are, automatically put you into these specific discussion spaces where you and other researchers interested in that field or working in that field can securely chat, message each other, talk about the latest discoveries that you've come across, talk about papers you've written, share your own good news. But essentially, these are dedicated spaces for talking about research. So if you're a little bit tired of traditional social media, shall we say, these are lots of chat spaces for you in this area. Next, I'm going to talk about the Salon. Some of you will have already been joining this. We've actually been running the Salon since the end of June now, beginning of July. And essentially, this is, I'm going to avoid saying webinar, but I'm going to say webinar. It's what you might think of as a webinar. So this is a 1 hour event that happens every Wednesday. It's either at 12 p.m. UK time or it's at 8 p.m. in the evening. And this happens every Wednesday. And for the first 30 to 40 minutes of these sessions, we have two invited brilliant guest speakers that do 10 minutes of their own mini version of a TED talk on a given topic. We have some chat, we ask some questions, and then anybody who's watching, we all move into the messaging space and have a discussion in the online messaging space to talk about the topic and to get the experiences of our audience and also to take questions from our speakers. We have 140 researchers lined up to deliver these weekly sessions. We've already been holding them since June. They happen every week and they're scheduled right through now to September next year. We've already have a massive resource of more than 20, I think more than 15 of these talks, and they've covered everything from sexism in academia to this week's session, which is happening at 8 p.m. tomorrow evening, is talking about unconscious bias. Last week's session was talking about clinical trial design. I think the week before that was study recruitment. We've had what to do after your PhD, how to do a successful job interview. These are a whole range of research and career talks for 1 hour every week. And also they're all recorded and available to watch within the community as well. And after they're a few months old, we'll release them into our YouTube channel for more wider public audience. But the main way to get these, to watch them, to participate live and to watch the recordings is in our community space. And you're automatically enrolled in that space when you sign up to the community. And a big thank you to all of the people that have volunteered to come and give a talk in those. And we're going to keep that going. So that's the Salon. Partner spaces. This really is about recognizing that there are already a massive number of small communities of researchers that already come together week in, every month to talk about their own research interests. And so because our app and our community is funded by charities, and for you, what we want to do is to invite existing community leaders to take some space within our community to have your own community groups. So an example of this, for example, is there are cohorts of PhD students that are going to be coming into the new Alzheimer's Society doctoral training centers. And those PhD students, that cohort of PhD students will have their own private spaces within the community. And if you're a community leader, please do come and talk to me about how you can have some space within our community that's just for your membership or the people you want to talk with. These can be entirely public spaces that anybody can join. They can be places that are public, but you have to apply to join, or they can be completely secret and hidden. And you can only join if you have a super special joining link. And people in those spaces can be given online badges to identify them. And one of the reasons we want to do this is because we want to give this space to you, but we also want those people to have access to everything that we're doing as well. And I think by bringing all these different people together into one space, it increases the chance that this whole endeavor will be successful. And that's what we're aiming for. So if you're a community leader, get in touch and chat to me about how we might support you and your own work. Next, journal clubs. So we have used the community to create virtual journal clubs. As we starting, we have a journal club on LGBTQ plus called Queering Dementia Research. We have one on sleep. We have another one on qualitative dementia research in low and middle income countries, on Lewy body diseases. I'm going to forget some and upset some of my coordinators. Let me think. We also have one on dementia prevention, one on computational research. And these are free journal clubs. They're limited in their capacity to 20 members for each journal club. We're starting off with a handful. These are entirely private, 20 members in each journal club space, and they meet online within the platform as a group once a month to talk about research papers in the journal club format that you will recognize from your own institution. And the reason we've done this is because we recognize not everybody is well connected. Not every institution has a whole group of researchers working in similar areas. And also as well, we wanted to broaden this out internationally to provide support for those researchers who do feel a little bit isolated, don't have some of the connections that they might have working in some bigger institutions. So yes, if you work at University College London, where I am, it's probably great. And there are lots of journal clubs meeting, but if you're somewhere else, there might not be. So we have virtual journal clubs. You can see if the journal club is open, contact the coordinator. Each journal club has one of those. They'll give you access to the journal club and you can interact with people working in that same field, meet every month and talk about the latest papers. They critique those. They talk about where they might be improved, and all of that helps make you a better researcher when it comes to writing, peer reviewing, and other things in future. I'm not going to sell you on the benefits of journal clubs. You can do that. We have a web page on and a whole section in the community that talks to that. So please do take a look at journal clubs. And if you don't find a journal club that's exactly suited to your own interests, we can start one. Or if the journal club you'd like to join is already full, again, there's a system in place in the community and in the app for you to get in touch with us to ask us to help you start your own journal club, which we're very happy to do. So do get in touch and take a look at that. I should add that I'm going to take some questions at the end. So if you have a question, do feel free to post that at any time and I'll get those answered at the end. So we have journal clubs. Event Buddy Bench. This is another dedicated space. This, I don't know about you, every time I go to the AEIC or British Geriatric Society Conference or the Alzheimer Europe or one of the local conferences, charity conferences, I find myself often coming across people that have arrived there on their own or people who don't find out that other colleagues are going until they arrive and realize that they could have potentially, I don't know, simple things like shared a taxi or knew that they had a friend before they arrived to make a friendly face. And often these WhatsApp groups kind of crop up just before conferences. So we wanted to add a bit of more of a systematic approach to that. So we have a space in the community called Buddy Bench, which is where you can post and say, hey, I'm going to this conference. Is anybody else going? And you can make plans to meet, to talk, to collaborate, whatever it is. And hopefully that'll be useful. So there you go. That's the Buddy Bench. I mentioned earlier that the Dementia Researcher website already curates all the funding calls, of course, and we publish those into the newsletter, but there's only so many we can put in our newsletter. So the other feature of the community is real-time push notifications to your smartphone when a new grant is published. So if you join up today, I happen to know that there are 2 new grants getting published this afternoon. If you go away and sign up or download our app now, this afternoon, you're going to get some push notification about some new NIHR funding calls straight to your phone. So that means you never miss an opportunity. There's a link there that takes you then to the further information, and hopefully that's useful. And we're still exploring ways that we could make use of this further. So things doing the same for jobs and other things where time time is a factor. So real-time funding notifications for grants. Careers chat. So I mentioned at the start, we've got those research spaces to talk about specific research, and then we have spaces dedicated and broken down into career stage where you can meet other people at the same career stage as you, going through the same highs and lows and ups and downs and facing the same challenges often that you might, to talk about careers. So we have those for people who are going to be researching in the future, for clinical researchers, PhD students, postdocs, professors, people who are lived experience researchers. All of these career stages are broken down so you can join those. Again, it asks you when you register what your career stages are, puts it in there, and you can message. And when I'm talking a lot about messaging, aren't I? So essentially what you do is you post just like you would in a normal social media space. And so when you post, you just choosing which space you're going to post that into, whether this is into the research space or the careers space. And you can join as many of these spaces as you like and get the notifications. So this is a place really where we're hoping to provide that real-time peer support. So if you're having a bad day or you're preparing for your Viva, you can jump into these career spaces and ask questions. And one of the things we've done, I can't remember if I've done a slide on this. I possibly haven't. So one of the things that we spent a lot of time on, I mentioned at the start of the live stream that we have over 2,500 pages of career support blogs and podcasts and articles. And what we've done is we spent months going through all of those to categorize them as to which career stage of person that they would be relevant to make sure that they're all correctly tagged. So, and reprofiling to make them look good and work well in on a mobile device. And so if you're in the careers chat section at the top there's a button called career first aid. And if you click that and you're in the PhD section, it'll immediately bring up all the specific content on our website that we think we've categorized as being useful for PhD students. So that could be peer reviewing your first paper, writing your first paper, preparing for your Viva, study techniques, whatever it is. And that's all searchable as well. So if you type in Viva into that, it'll bring up all of our content that's relevant to you there. So it's not just about creating that connection to others like you. It's simplifying access to the website we already have to give you what you need when you need it, hopefully. So there you go. That's Careers Chat. The Study Hub. I don't know how many people are going to use this, but again, we're still exploring all the features that our community has to offer and finding different and unique ways to try and use this. And what some of our community members, at least this is your fault if you're watching, what some of our community members told us is that they like to have study space, because particularly for writing, that having a group of other people with where you schedule, right, okay, I want to spend every hour on a Wednesday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. writing, but I know that I'm terrible. I get distracted. I'm going to watch cat videos on YouTube. I'm going to do some online shopping and spend that morning procrastinating or browsing the internet. And so what you can do is you can request a study space, which is recurring or a one-off, and we create like a Zoom. It's like a Zoom room where you can go in there, quietly study, and others can join you. So you can all sit there quietly with Pomodoro software built into that as well, allowing you to sit there and study and remain focused and keep you honest and alongside others that are doing that at the same time. This used to happen regularly in our WhatsApp community. These groups cropped up. So we're building that, baking that into the community from the outset so you can have study spaces where you can study alongside others, but particularly writing groups, I think. And you can raise your head once in a while, have a little chat amongst yourselves. If you have a question, I'm sure others there to support you, but you can use the community for that as well. Don't worry, we're getting through the slides now. One of the questions we ask people when they sign up is if they are willing to be a mentor. And so again, this is only working on the website version at the moment, not in the app, but it's coming to the app soon. You can filter, you can see all the people who are members of our community. And if they've said, yes, they're willing to be a mentor, it allows you to add further filters according to their research field, where in the world they are, what their interests are. You can then click on their name, review their biography, and send them a message to say, I'd like to be a mentor. So this is hopefully a way for you to find a mentor. So there you go. It's pretty simple, but again, if you go into the community, all of this is explained and how you can do that. And I'm going to finish up really by saying that there's more to come. We're still exploring lots of ways that we can do this. We've discovered recently that the community allows us to create structured training courses. So something we're working on right now, for example, is to create training courses that might help you at specific times of your career. So if you're thinking about becoming a peer reviewer, that we're going to take the content we already have from our website, enhance that a little bit, reorganize it, and produce it into, or adjust it into a more structured format so you can take that as a training course. The same could be said for things like patient and public involvement or delivering co-production for your first time. So we're taking the resources that we have, structuring them more as training courses to build them in. So join the community today and you'll make sure that that feature is going to come later in the year. Of course, we're going to have more journal clubs, hopefully, if you're interested. And we're still, again, finding different ways to use this all the time. We're very open-minded and very interested in your thoughts. So if you do go away and join the community today and you have some comments or some feedback, please do get in touch and make your suggestions. There is a form for that in the community as well. So pretty much that's it. That's what our community is all about. And to celebrate the first day, our launch day, this evening within the community at 8 p.m., there will be a house party, a housewarming party at 8 p.m. online. It's in a Zoom-like room. I'm going to run through these features again quickly, so I'm sorry if you've watched today and you're going to have to watch a little bit of that again, but I'm going to do it much quicker and focus on the community. There'll be a chance for you to meet some of our journal club coordinators to introduce yourself to other community members, and there'll be a fun quiz. And behind me on the shelf here, you can see we have a whole bunch of prizes. So please do, if you're free at 8 p.m. this evening, which is in about 7.5 hours time, depending on where in the world you are, join for our housewarming party, and we will do our best to welcome you and to have a bit of fun. That's what it's all about. But again, if you have any questions, please do post them in the chat now. If not, you can add them as a comment later and I'll make sure I get to those. But thank you ever so much to everybody who's taken time to tune in today to learn more about our community. I should, of course, mention the community space. So you can get to the community by going to dementiaresearcher.nihr.ac.uk/community. That'll take you to the web browser version. If you're on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store and type in Dementia Researcher Community, you'll find it there. Or if you go to onelink.to/Dementia Researcher, it'll work out automatically what kind of device you are on and take you there. Click sign up, which you have to do anyway. It asks you a few initial profile questions to get you in, and then you're welcome to browse throughout all the spaces we have. You can RSVP to all those Salon events we have lined up. We also have specific career events. We've also got an opportunity for you to represent things like posters you've already presented to a conference, to do that to the community. And I hope, really, really hope that you can make use of this, that it'll bring people together and to further both your career, but also all of the amazing work you're doing in delivering the dementia research to help people living with dementia and the carers that we know desperately need our support. Um, Final plug is I mentioned earlier, Golnaz Latifi. Please do have a look at our YouTube channel where she's going to be sharing those vlogs every day throughout World Alzheimer's Month. Thank you so much for taking time to join me today. It's been a pleasure to talk about our highlights. Thank you all again to our brilliant funders, University College London, the UCLH, BRC, Alzheimer's Association, Race Against Dementia, Alzheimer's Society, and Alzheimer's Research UK for all the incredible support you've offered, and to all of our trailblazers. And finally, if you sign up today, which is Tuesday, the 10th of September, we're going to give you a special badge as a first day member, a digital badge in the community. So if you didn't already have enough reasons, there's another. Thank you so much again. And I think we'll wrap up there. Thank you.